Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, Board. Item 2.1 is an opportunity for the Board to congratulate our Pride Award winner. Congratulate our Pride Award winners of May. So I'd like to ask the Board to please join me in front here as we welcome and congratulate our Pride Award winners.
Tonight, the Board of Education acknowledges Pride winners for the month of May. Pride stands for proudly recognizing individuals demonstrating excellence. The Board of Education implemented this program in the fall of 2015 to recognize, promote, and celebrate the many contributions made by teachers and employees across the district. Our Teachers of the Month are sponsored by Allied First Bank. This recognizes what our teachers do day in and day out for the continued growth and success of our students. Awardees, as your name is called, please come forward to the stage and be congratulated by the board and Dr. Sparlin. Congratulations to the following teachers for having been recognized as May's Teachers of the Month. Katrina Beadle, a speech and language pathologist from Old Post Elementary School. Kayla Nahas Harper, a science teacher at Oswego High School. Kelly Springsteen, a social studies teacher at Thompson Junior High School. And Melissa Gleason, a counselor at Oswego East High School. Okay, we'll go ahead and do our photo. If there's any of our building administrators that are here this evening for these awardees, we invite you to join us on stage for the photo. Don't be shy. Come on up. Yeah, go on up there. Go on up there.
You can come and stand in front of, like, Lori. I know we're going to be okay. Go ahead. We're working it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, teachers. Our next awardees this evening in May are the Employees of the Month, which is co-sponsored by Chick-fil-A and Huntington Learning Center. This award is given in appreciation of employees who go above and beyond and are always willing to lend a hand. Awardees, as your name is called, please come forward to be congratulated by the board and Dr. Sparlin. Congratulations to the following employees as our May Employees of the Month. Lynn Demke, a Security Dean's Assistant at Oswego East High School. And Nora Garcia, a Health Office Secretary at Boulder Hill Elementary School. If there's anyone here to join Nora for the photo, we invite you up on stage. Head on up. Congratulations. We'd like to give one final thank you to our generous district partners, Allied First Bank, Chick-fil-A, Huntington Learning Center, and Culver's for helping make this program a success. We would also like to thank all of those who nominated individuals this year, and we look forward to recognizing more individuals during our 22-23 school year. Thank you.
Okay, regarding public comment, tonight we will have 2 opportunities for the public to speak. The first will be during our public comment, and the second will be during our question and answer session. On behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to thank the public for attending tonight's meeting. We value the feedback we receive from our residents and encourage everyone to take an active interest in their public school system. Residents interested in speaking to the board this evening are asked to have completed a comment card and presented it to the secretary to the board. When the secretary calls your name, I ask that you come to the microphone, state your name for the public record, and provide your feedback. Please note that all comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person for a total of 30 minutes. No discussion of personnel matters or responses to questions are permitted. The board does not participate in discussion during public comment. If your questions or concerns require a follow-up, a member of the administration will reach out through the contact information provided on the comment card. Thank you. Nathan Brown.
Good evening, Nathan Brown, 423 DeVoe Drive, Oswego. I'm the president of the Prescott Mill Single Family HOA. I previously addressed the board about the need for more student parking at Oswego East High School, as there are now 90 cars parking in our subdivision every single day. I've addressed the board on the issues that has presented for our residents as well as the students in the past. First, I'd like to thank Dr. Sparlin, members of the school board and staff of Oswego East for listening to our residents' concerns and working towards a solution. Your time and attention to this matter is greatly appreciated. Last week, the presidents of the 3 Prescott Mill HOAs, the other president, Richard Funk, is with me here tonight as well. We met with Dr. Sparlin, several school board members, the mayor, police chief, village administrator, and a village trustee to further discuss the issue. At that time, we were told it's possible to add 60 parking spaces to Oswego East, and it would be added for consideration to the district's list of capital improvement projects. I'm here to ask for the quick approval of this project and to expedite its completion before the beginning of the new school year. This has been an issue in Prescott Mill, and the village have asked the school district to address it for 7 years now. The safest and most appropriate place for students to park is on school grounds, and the addition of these parking spaces would certainly go a long way to solving this problem. Thank you for your time and for your consideration.
Okay, the following procedures and protocols will be in place tonight for our question and answer session. Individuals wishing to make a comment or ask a question will be required to fill out a comment card with their name, email, and question so that the board and or administration can follow up if a question cannot be answered at the meeting. To ensure the process is as efficient as possible, we ask that speakers submit their comment card to the board secretary prior to the meeting. The board secretary will call each person in the order the cards were received. To ensure that all topics get addressed to the maximum extent possible, after 3 questions on the same topic have been heard, the board president will ask the board secretary to call the next person that has a question on a different topic. At 9 p.m. or at whatever time is appropriate tonight, the board president will announce the time and that the final questions of the meeting has been taken or will take place. When the community members approach the microphone, The person shall then state their name and topic of their question or comment for the public record. Questions, comments will be limited to 2 minutes or less and may be directed to the board in general or to a specific member of the board. If no board member is directly asked to address the question or the comment from the audience, then any board member may answer, comment, and additional board members who may wish to answer or comment can do so as well. Board members' answers will be limited to 2 minutes. If no board member elects to respond to a question, then the president will make a statement on behalf of the board. Questions can be on any topic except for specific student situations or specific personnel, i.e., no questions or comments can be made about any teacher, employee, administrator, or by referencing the district employee's title. If members of the public have any of these types of questions, they should be directed to the building principal or district administration. Thank you.
Michelle Traeger. Hi, I'm Michelle Traeger, 4 kids in the district. Thanks for having a public forum. I came to you guys twice in April asking for 3 things. FASD awareness in September. Once again, rate of FASD 2.5 times that of autism. Not only do we have autism awareness in this district, we have a whole program for it. Secondly, to support the FASD Respect Act, which is bipartisan federal legislation. I've sent you all the link to do this very easily, 60 seconds or less, via a text campaign. I've also asked you to thank Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, who has signed on to the legislation as a co-sponsor because she recognizes how important this is to children and families in her district, which is our community. I've asked you to get training for staff, not just special ed staff, but gen ed teachers and deans and administrators who are often dealing with individuals with FASD when it comes to discipline. I sent you all the information. You have the statistics, the facts, you have the links to the academic journals. That's the reality. The only new information is that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'll remind you that over 90% of those with FASD have co-occurring mental health issues, and their suicidal ideation rates and attempts are higher in that population. BTW, it's also National Foster Care Month, and if you want, I can send you the recent 250-page report from HHS and CDC about FASD in the child welfare system. I'm certain we have foster and adopted children in this district. So I've asked for a reply. I haven't received one this far. If we look at the prevalence rates, we know that we could be better meeting the needs of 850 to 1,700 students in this district. My energy needs to go to other places who wanted me to present, legislators who are interested in getting in on this. So my question to you is, what can I do to help you guys move on this? And what are we going to do as a district? Thank you.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Thanks, Jen.
I will say that I have read your email. It was full of an incredible amount of information. No, and I'm very grateful, and there is definitely a learning curve with it. I'm actually meeting with Ms. Underwood in the coming couple of weeks, so I look forward to sharing that information with her. And I'm also looking to get more involved.
Please thank her.
So I will definitely be doing that, and I want to reach out to you when I have a moment so we can sit down. Like I told you, I was a little overwhelmed with the information, so I can do a one-on-one with you because I am more interested in this. And other than that, from a board perspective, a legislation perspective, it's more of the administration that I know can address your questions. But I just want you to know that it is something that I do hear about, and I thank you for your constant advocacy. Truly, it is. It's nice to see and that you care and that you continue to push. Just, I don't have any questions or answers right now, so that's the only thing I wanted to let you know. But thank you for the one email with everything in it. So I could just keep going back to that one email. So thank you. Mm-hmm.
I will absolutely reach out and thank her. So I tend to babble, so I'll leave that short and sweet. Yeah, I will echo that as well. Would love to sit down and meet one-on-one as well.
I don't know if I'd reach out as far as how do we do the awareness month, the training. This might be actually maybe you, Teresa, maybe you, Faith. I don't know. Because I would be, I mean, I'm for any awareness, particularly something of prevalence. So.
Sure, and we had spoken briefly right after the board meeting, and then we played phone tag a little bit. It is on our agenda to talk about it at Cabinet and a little bit bigger, but the things toward next year, as we get toward the end of May here, we're really working on ending this school year and building that. So we will get back to you.
Lisa Williams.
My name is Lisa Williams. I have 2 kids in the district currently. I am going to touch on or ask questions about school safety. There was an incident that occurred at Oswego High School last week involving my daughter. I don't want to go into that too much detail, to give you a little background to know why my concerns have come to light. She was sitting at a lunch table minding her own business. Another student was at the lunch period that should not have been in the lunch period to begin with. Attacked her for no apparent reason. After the incident occurred, I was notified by the school as well as my daughter. I requested to see the video from the lunchroom to see what happened, and unfortunately, I was told that the video was complete garbage and they couldn't make out anything from the video or anyone in the video. And I asked if that was because of the amount of students, they just couldn't tell, and I was told by 3 different people that the camera isn't working, it needs to be updated or replaced, and hey, they have been requesting this for well over a year at the very least, if not more. So, as this incident went on for days, they are now relying on kids' cell phone video recordings of what happened after the initial contact. So my first concern is, you're using kids' videos that they're not supposed to be doing. They get in trouble for recording, and now we're using those videos because our cameras don't work properly in the lunchroom. So, I don't know how many kids will give their videos willingly if they're known to get in trouble for this behavior. Luckily, one student did give up the video. It does not catch that initial act, so we don't have that on video to hold this student responsible that did the aggressive behavior. The next day, there was more attacks on her, social media, everything as usual. So she went in and filled out an incident report. This time, the incident occurred in a hallway, and it was caught on camera. So I was thankful. But then I did question, okay, so this camera's working, why not the lunchroom? Well, that hallway camera works, but other hallway cameras are in the same boat. They are not up to date, and they aren't catching certain things. And again, when a fight starts between 2 kids and you see this verbal altercation, people start filming. When it comes out of the blue, no one gets that initial what happened at the beginning. You're only getting the result of the rest of it. So I asked why, again, heard from 2 other people, need upgrading or they need to be replaced because they are not reliable. This is a basic safety issue, and I appreciate all the safety protocols we go through for COVID and everything else. I had no idea that sending my kid to school, I had to question whether we had basic technology, I think, in this day and age, that you would see a video, and a good video, of what's happening in our schools, in the hallways, in the lunchroom, where a lot of stuff like this takes place. So my question is, what are we going to do about that? Has it been heard? I don't know. I've been told by the school people that they're requesting it. I want to know if it's actually been heard and if we're working on this. And, what happens if there's no video or witnesses in a situation and a child doesn't take responsibility or get blamed accordingly like they should or get held responsible? Another problem I had, when this occurred on the very day, because I had trouble getting a video or viewing a video, I sent in an FOIA form on 5/11. I checked in today, because I would have liked to have that for tonight. And I was told that they never received anything. I said, I emailed it. I have a sent email receipt. And then she said, oh yeah, and I'm not going to name names because I'm not here to get specific people. I just want to address generally what can we do. That she remembers something, there was no name attached to it, which I find hard to believe because if you look at the form, I had to sign it, I had to put all my information in it. So she couldn't make anything out or couldn't attach it to anyone, so she just deleted my request. So now I requested again today, and I received an email back saying, we received a request back as of 5/19. Today is May 16th. 5/19 hasn't occurred yet, and they give 5 business days to get a copy of this video. So I don't know if we're predating or why that date was given to me, but I'm also wondering when I will get a copy of that video or someone acknowledge how that system works. Freedom of Information Act. This is my husband who wasn't present. So
What's that?
this is my husband who was out of town during the incident last week, but wanted to show support for me.
Okay, yeah, good, thank you. I appreciate you both coming up. So my name's John Petsky. I'm the Chief Finance Officer, but I work with Buildings and Grounds, and we're actually meeting with my Director of Buildings and Grounds is meeting with the schools to do a kind of a technology video audit to see out of our schools, are there cameras that are not working? Are there cameras that are not working because they're out of date or because the network lines are not working? So we're auditing that and making sure that our technology is capturing what it's supposed to, as well as adding cameras to where they need to be. So I'll follow up with him on that and find out at OHS what cameras are out and need to be addressed. Can definitely do that. And then for the FOIA, that's actually to FOIA the videotape, because it has, the video actually has a lot of other students in it. So it's not something that we would give out through a Freedom of Information Act request because of the privacy rights of all the other students and people in the building. But if you contact the principal, we can see about, you know, what student, what specific incident you're looking for, and we can at least approach it from there. So the school can see what video footage we have, and if what you're looking for is on that as well. So, okay.
Okay, Dr. Petsky, a question for you then is, when was the last time, if any, did we have an audit regarding our cameras?
You know what, I'll have to ask that. I'm not sure when the last time we had an audit was, but I can look into that certainly.
Now, part of that answer to that question is when a camera goes out or a piece of technology goes out, a work order may be placed for it. That's what should happen. And Lisa, I'm sorry to hear what happened to your, it was your son or your daughter?
Daughter.
To your daughter. I'm sorry to hear that. And we have hundreds of cameras throughout the school district. You know, I remember, 10 years when I started here, we had barely any cameras. No buzzer systems, no Raptor system. The different security measures that we have put in over the last 10 years have been extensive, and we do look at the updates, as Dr. Petsky was just mentioning. But tomorrow I will check to see if there has been any work orders, and we'll check that camera. It's like any other piece of technology. It can go out, and it may take a little bit of time to get the pieces in, the parts in, to fix them. But we should have our cameras up and running. Okay.
My one concern was if kids find out cameras aren't working, I'm afraid of the free-for-all it could become as well. So that's not safety. That's a big concern. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
I just wanted to thank both of you, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, for coming tonight and bringing this to our attention. One of the board focuses is safe and inclusive schools, safe being making sure that our kids can get from class to class. So I will, as a board member, follow up to make sure that happens as well. And thank you for coming tonight and sharing with us what's going on with your daughter.
Thank you.
Yes, I did. I did that as well. And also, Dr. Sparling, can I ask that whatever the results of the audit are, that they be added to our comprehensive facilities plan going forward? Thank you.
Thank you.
Robin Cook.
Hello, my name is Robin Cook. and I am a parent of a child attending Oswego High. Thank you for allowing me to participate in an open session dialogue, question and answers. I am here to discuss FASD. As an adoptive parent of a child with FASD, I have learned that FASD children need to be celebrated. FASD children need to be supported, not hidden or ignored due to their disability. FASD is a hidden disability and a medical condition. FASD is more prevalent than autism or Down syndrome. What training and practices will FSD 308 put in place to support FASD children?
Robin, as Mrs. Alquist just mentioned, this is on our cabinet agenda, and it's on the agenda for myself and Mrs. Komitas to talk about actually this week. So it is already on that agenda. And I apologize, I don't have any more of an answer for you tonight regarding that.
Thank you.
Michelle McBrady.
Hello, Michelle McBrady. Some of you recognize me from the Teaching and Learning Committee. We talked a lot this year in the Teaching and Learning Committee about the deficits in learning that are happening here in District 308. Something we didn't discuss at length, though, was this idea of academic excellence. Last week we heard from our best and brightest, right? I was so disappointed to hear them speak last week because it just broke my heart that we're not honoring them appropriately. So my question is for each one of you, what does academic excellence mean to you? And what are each of you doing?
Talk in the, yeah, a little bit more.
And what are each of you doing personally as a board member to raise the academic achievement of District 308 students?
Well, I'll go ahead and start because I'm assuming that you're bringing up the policy shift when it comes to summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude. Is that correct? Yeah. Which when that was originally brought up on the committee that you're referring to, the Teaching and Learning Committee, we had discussed thoroughly at what we were doing and the intentions of what was supposed to be done with that policy shift. And in the beginning, when we went to the Latin system, the concept or what was intended was never to take away tradition. And so the intention was always to make sure that we honored the traditions we already had. So we had the 10% dinner, and we looked at the numbers, we broke them down, and we knew that there was no way to take all three of the Latin systems, or the three Latin categories, sorry, and have those kids attend our traditional dinner. And so the idea was that if we stepped away from that dinner, that there would be backlash. We knew that back then when that was instituted. And so the concept was, or the idea that we came up with in that committee at the time, was that 10% dinner would just become the summa cum laude dinner, honoring the tradition that we already had. There was never any concept of taking away medallions or taking away a dinner because we knew exactly what that would lead to. To speak to what I've done personally, I don't think that honoring students who are finishing summa cum laude or cum laude is a participation trophy, because I think those students have worked very hard. I don't want to say offense, but I take a little aside to that when someone says that's a participation trophy. I disagree vehemently with that. And so I would say that being a part of that, that is actually honoring those students. Now, the fact that we didn't listen to the committee in the beginning when they came up with that concept, I can't control that piece personally. But I think honoring, in addition to students who have also worked hard, in addition to our traditions and keeping those traditions in place, is actually an expansion of honoring our students who have worked very hard. And so personally, that's what I have done. But not me personally, alone. I want to make that abundantly clear. But as a team and with others, other board members as well. And so that really is the whole picture. What has happened, you know, with that, I think that there are those who probably, once we revisited the history, would realize perhaps that maybe the whole picture should have probably been looked at.
Yep, that's what happened back in 2017. The extensive conversation was surrounding whether or not quality points were hindering our highest academically achieving students from actually doing anything other than burning out, because we had no limit on the number of courses, and because there was such competition for quality points, it wasn't doing them good once they ended up at the college or university or wherever they chose to go after high school. And so one of the things we had talked about was, do colleges look at the valedictorian, salutatorian, class rank system? It had been put in with good intentions of, let's figure out how to weight some classes more heavily than others. For academic achievement, I think that there's nothing that we don't celebrate about academic achievement, whether it be for students who are now passing a class that they didn't used to be able to pass, to students who, and I heard a group talking today, they're having a final coming up, and someone was very, very concerned that their average would drop from a 96% to a 95% in an AP class. And that, to me, was pretty exciting to see, that there are students that are willing to take the most rigorous courses that we can offer our students and are trying to 100% them because they want to know the material and they want to achieve that. That is something that I don't think any parent could not support. We all want to see our students achieving at wherever they're at. For our highest achieving students, yeah, I don't think that, as I understood it, the intention had been to expand the top 10% dinner to include all summa cum laude graduates, and I wasn't participating in any of the conversations that led to any of the changes. But for me, it's very important to recognize these students. I also really enjoyed at those dinners that that they would also recognize their educator that was the most influential educator to them. So that's what I've got.
All right, so the first question is, what's my definition of academic excellence? And for me, it's basically fulfill each individual child's potential and allow them to pursue happiness. So that's pretty much my definition. And what I do personally to try to help kids get there is, that's kind of my mantra, achievement. This needs to improve achievement. Like every decision I make, there has to be an element of achievement for whatever that kid's, you know, all the diverse, you know, abilities, everything in our district. It has to further achievement for those kids. So that's what I do personally. That's literally my focus. I've only been on for a couple months though. So.
I'll take a crack at it. Okay. So I think their answers for personal excellence are fine. I think we could do more. I think the real question is, why aren't they getting their medals, and why aren't they allowed to sit up front? I mean, that was not an us. I don't think that was an us decision. I wasn't on the board when that happened. But as far as could we celebrate more, like, personally, I think it starts with common finals. I think it starts with common curriculum. I think we have buildings in the district that have pockets of greatness. And I think that we need to all come together and kind of collectively talk about curriculum, which we have, tried to institute. I think at the high schools, it's common finals. I think you have things that are happening in Oswego East that aren't happening in Oswego, and vice versa. And I think, again, there's pockets of greatness that we could fix. I also think we need to expand our non-college bound options. Because I had one that went to college, I had one that went to the military. The other thing that we could do is we could, and we've talked about this, but we haven't really gone past the talking stage. When we do the signing days for athletes, we could also do the signing days for kids who are going to college. And we've talked about it, but we haven't really gone past talking about it. So that's, partly on me too.
One thing real quick though, I just want to make sure that we are clarifying something. The decision for medals and sitting up front was never part of that discussion when that policy was changed. So that decision, if it was made this school year, it was made while this board was sitting up here. It was not a change that was made when that policy was made. That was never the decision. So I just want to make sure we clarify that.
Since I wasn't on the board when that decision was made, I will address it. What do I believe or think that academic achievement or success relates to my advocacy for all students, and the reason that I am on the board, and that's how my advocacy for success of all students shows up. And the fact that if I, as a board member, are advocating for a culture and a climate that will bring success for all students, that's kind of how I see it. So addressing like disparities in achievement is really important. Looking at opportunity gaps and expectation gaps and closing those is how we get success for all students. Thanks.
Thank you for your question, but I'll go next. So first, what causes a student to excel academically is absolutely different for every student. And so it's not a blanket approach, but academic excellence for me is really helping each student realize their potential, not just academically, but not just academically, but just holistically as a person. And I believe that that's why all of us sit on this board, because we understand students are not just their GPA. And I'm sure, again, I can speak for everybody, but every question, decision, action that we make is all through that same lens. And so supporting and equipping teachers is very important to me. Working to ensure that we have a culture conducive to that teaching and learning is very important. Reviewing the policies and procedures to make sure that all students have access and that it's equitable is important. And even to the point of personally mentoring and tutoring students is all equally important on why we do what we do, to make sure that and even recognizing them, because we understand all students, or and I shouldn't say all students, but again, the motivation for each student for what causes them to continue to achieve is different, but we want to make sure that we're doing all that we can to continue to support them.
Hi, Michelle. I have the honor of sitting on the policy committee with Michelle. Thank you for your question. I could probably take 6 hours to answer this because I'm pretty passionate about it. I want to talk about the medallion first of all. I didn't even know it was an issue until it we started getting emails, so it was surprising because I didn't even realize that we had a board policy on it. Oh, sorry. Better? Okay. And so I have so many thoughts on it. I understand why we let go of the dinner because of the cost. And I think that there can be a great, you can still gather and get together and everything and celebrate. When I was meeting with Mrs. Simulton and Dr. Sparlin last weekend, I did share my disappointment that we didn't involve our students in this decision and see what their feedback would be. And another one of our board priorities is student voice. And I feel like we didn't give them that opportunity. And so I certainly let Dr. Sparlin know and said, please share that I was disappointed that our students didn't have that opportunity to say, you know, while our administration was saying, well, this pin is better, or it's this, or it's that, that's from your perspective, not from the students. So I encourage us and push us all the time to say, what do our students feel and think? So I think that's incredibly important. I do also realize that there is a line of demarcation of where the board ends and where the board starts, and it's often, and I often cross that line, as Dr. Sparlin will tell you, giving my opinion about what I think I would like to see or so forth, but I am only one voice. So I did get a better understanding from Dr. Kincaid and from some fellow board members that were on the team at that time. And I support the decision that they made. I do hope that we can come to some sort of better solution and let the students say what they would like to purchase and or carry with them as a memento for their academic achievement, which is incredible, something I never attained. Regarding academic excellence, I'm an HR practitioner by trade, and so my goal is always to put the human in human resources. I truly believe that so much of our culture and climate stems from how we treat our staff and how we treat each other within the district. Safe and inclusive, a school district is more than just about our students, it's about our staff as well. And we have to continue to provide a culture that is safe and inclusive for our staff. When they feel safe, our students feel safe, academic achievement will increase by nature. And so I continue to be the advocate for, is our staff safe? Are our students safe? Because until they are, those relationships with their teachers, with different staff members, they will not excel. So I will continue to be that advocate time and time again and push those questions and push how we are doing with the people that are running the district and the students within our district. And that includes our parents and our community members as well. Every voice has the right to be heard, and I will continue to listen to every parent, every community member. And we may not always agree, but we can respectfully hear each other. So thank you.
We have no more questions?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, and I only because I want to make sure that the committee work that we did is honored, because there was a lot of work and thought that went behind it. That policy, and I want to make sure we clarify, the policy definitely does not say or cover anything about medallions. That policy does not cover anything about the dinner. In fact, when we did that work, we were very adamant. I want to make this clear. We were very adamant about honoring the traditions that had existed, which were the medallions and that dinner. And so neither one was ever taken away when that committee did that work. In fact, the opposite was the heart of the discussion. The heart of the discussion was that if you take either one of those away, we will find ourselves in here having people come in. So I can tell you specifically, it is not in the policy. It was never intended to be put in the policy. and it was never intended to be taken away. I cannot be more clear than that. I do not blame a board, any board, for the fact that it is gone, because it's probably not something that would be brought on any board's radar. However, I'm going to be honest and say forthright that those conversations were absolutely taken into account when the policy was changed, and we were very adamant that you cannot change those traditions, because if you do, you will upset people. And they will come in here and they will let you hear about it. And so whoever changed or whatever changed at whatever level, as Dominic pointed out, I've only been here for a short while. You know, I'm sure there were reasons or whatever, or perhaps just lost in translation due to the fact of what we've been doing for the last 2 years. But I want to respect the work that was done by that committee years ago. And those conversations were adamant to not change tradition. And there's nothing in the policy that says to take medallions or a dinner away. So I just want to make sure that's crystal clear.
Thank you, Jared. And we as a board, we understand the difficulty of the work that we do, and so we are in full support of the work that has been done prior to us coming on this board, and we very much appreciate it. So, if there are, well, let me just invite anyone. Oh, go ahead, Dominic.
Oh, Dr. Sparling? Was there an update to the ceremony or anything along those lines, if I recall?
Yes, the update to the ceremony is I met with the high school principals, and the summa cum laude students will lead the procession into the arena at Northern Illinois University. They will also sit in the front row, just as they have in the past tradition. So in past years, when we had a top 10%, that was one group of kids. The number of summa cum laude is probably about the top 12 to 15% of the graduating senior class. So, and then we will also be recognizing the magna cum laude and the cum laude students, but they will be in alpha order, just as it has been in the past.
Okay, so I'm going to give each of our board members an opportunity to have any closing remarks, and we'll keep it to like 2 minutes each if anyone has anything, and then we can go and we will adjourn. So anyone with any closing remarks that they would like?
I just want to thank everyone who came out to ask a question tonight and brought different situations to our attention. Oftentimes the board does not know what may or may not be going on. So it's very helpful to get perspective and hear everyone's voice. So thank you.
Just going to say thank you to everyone who came out, including our administrators and staff who came out tonight. Appreciate everybody who came out, and definitely the voices from the community as well, obviously. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. We were ready for any question, I'd imagine. So I appreciate everybody coming. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, even for coming to our board meetings and sitting and waiting so patiently for your opportunity to make your presentations. We have really tried our best to be cognizant of where you are placed on the agenda, and so we will continue to do that and work to make sure that you're not sitting there all night waiting to make your presentation. So we really appreciate it, and thank you for all who came out tonight. Our community members who addressed us. We take these comments and concerns very seriously. We read all of the emails, and we take all of that information into all of the meetings that we have, whether they're with Dr. Sparlin or whether they come before the comments that we make during our board meetings and our conversations that we have with our community. And so the kind of information that you bring helps us to build relationships,
because we want to build trust at the end of the day. And so, you know, building relationships builds trust, and so that's our goal. So if there are no more comments from our board, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?